What is up, guys? Tank Game Johnny Utah here. Today we have something a little different, but before that, a little bit of an update. Tune in later this week. We're going to have our Cromwell B giveaway. Also, I have been loaned the Soviet Beast. Expect to see videos on that very, very soon. But for now, keep your eyes on the Cromwell B prize. Moving on, today we're going to do something different. We're going to run some heavies, IS-7 to be exact, very, very crunchy tank. And we're going to try a new murder cam. So make sure to watch the entire video to see all of the murder in beautiful, beautiful detail. Now, I don't really run this tank. I just don't have a good feel for it. But I think I am getting there. I don't have super awesome Soviet crews, period, and the ones I do tend to be in my light medium tanks. So in this crew, I think we've got like 6 cents in repairs. That is it. So we're very, very bare bones here. And you'll notice my loadout is 50-50. 50% armor piercing, 50% APCR. Now the downside of this tank is you don't have a whole lot of horsepower as far as the gun goes, because your APCR has an average penetration of 303 millimeters, which really won't put in a whole lot of good work if you're really trying to get through some tough armor. So that's kind of one hurdle we need to focus on. Now, if you'll notice, I am kind of redirecting my path here. I kind of decided to go down south, our right flank, because as you can see there, the Reds have just completely pushed our right flank. So we need to go down there. We need to kind of shore it up. Now, I do have to be very, very cautious because I don't want to take shots from the mid. I'm not necessarily used to playing heavy tanks, but I have played a great deal of heavy tanks in the past, so I understand the mechanics behind them, and I kind of understand their limitations. So I just essentially, what I'm looking for here, guys, is to minimize the shots the bad guys can take on me while maximizing the shots I can take on the bad guys. Obviously, that's more or less everyone's battle tactic there. Take a shot there, T-49 misses wildly, made in Russia. That's all I gotta say. But you know what? It's fine. We're gonna go ahead, back up, reposition, see if we can't get some shots on the guys below. They're kind of down there, you know, just making havoc. Now, we do not have a lot of gun depression, which I am sure lots of you folks know. That is literally as low as the gun would go. Took a little round right there from the clicker, I believe. Not a big deal. I'm just trying to kind of peek the turret out, or excuse me, the hull out just enough to where I can kind of get a shot on that M103. We managed to connect with him. I cannot. Literally, the gun will not go any lower. The only way I'm getting lower is if I kind of dip over the side of the hill here. Put a round in the back of his turret. He's kind of giving it up there for me. I am going to use these rocks for cover because I know the clicker, the 53-55, definitely has eyes on me. No more shots there on the M103. We're going to see what else we can kind of get into. Now, there's some folks down there getting engaged, it looks like, with that T110 Echo 4. Try to put a shot there in his lower plate. Just did not work out for me at all. But we're gonna have a short moment of murder cam here because we're gonna shut this gentleman down. We just kind of perched over the hill and just laid that hatred out. We've got a perfect side shot. Almost fall in the path of the bullet right here. These other gents were trying to take him out. But, you know, we're just waiting on a reload, as it were. So, moving on, we go ahead and finish that gent off. And now we're on to the next one. As you can see here, to my 12 o'clock, we have an IS-7, and I believe it's an E-75. Trying to do a little bit of a QB sneak here. We're not fans of that at all, because that's the last thing we need is heavy tanks firing at us from, you know, our spawn area. IS-7 is trying to get out of here. I'm just going to sneak over and it was just pure luck that managed to go in. But we did manage to put one in there. He fires a shot, did not happen for him. We're going to see if we can't get him. Going to the murder cam here. We've got a perfect side shot right there, and we're going to put it pretty much right between that spaced armor and the tracks, and that is the end of him. And right before that, it looks like he actually bounced around off of his turret. Just so much murder, you have to see it twice. Moving on, we are essentially in clearinghouse mode. We have a very implacable advance over here. There's not a whole lot these folks can do about it except get pooped on, and poop we are in fact doing. We have a gentleman coming right here. We're going to see if we can't lay it on him. He is definitely in trouble, whether he knows it or not. We put one in his side, setting him on fire, going to the murder cam here. Got a good shot of him burning. And that's kind of the sad truth, guys. If you run German tanks, you have to be okay with your crews burning to death. It's just a thing. I don't know why. That's just how things work. And he ends up burning out right there. And that is the end of him. Moving on. As you can see here, it's not looking good for us overall, considering the top of the scoreboard there. We're still down a little bit, so we really need to pick up the pace here, you know, and lay some hurt down on some folks. Now, we're going through the water here, and it's slowing us down. The IS-7 has very, very poor terrain resistance. Clutch braking, off-road driving, these are things you need in this tank, just specifically because when you get in there, it gets very slow and gets very bogged down, so on and so forth. I'm going to try to take a shot at this gentleman right here. I don't know whether that was my personal aiming or RNG. Either way, I missed it. It did not happen. We're going to try to get in a hold down position. However, we kind of have to pull up sideways a little bit to even try to attempt this. Just simply because we don't have a whole lot of gun depression over the front of the deck. Now, if the tank did have a lot of gun depression, it would kind of be in the OP range, just simply because the turret on this thing is so monstrous. I mean, you can penetrate the turret on an IS-7, however, you have to have a whole lot of gun, however, to make it happen. Now, we just bounced around right here at E75 up on top in the mid here, kind of where you see a lot of mediums lights go. I see the clicker moving. Not necessarily a fan of him knowing where I am, because I can just see him scoping in on me right now, because that's probably what I would do if I was in his position. Turning this monstrous tank around, going the opposite direction, I decide to go up here and engage this E75 and kind of minimize the shots I'm taking. And what that means is, no one else is going to be able to fire on me except this E75, assuming, of course, he does know that I'm going to be here. Which, spoiler alert, he does not. I kind of sneak up on him. He has no idea I'm there, and I kind of blindside him. But you know what, guys? Those are the best kind of kills. As a medium light driver, I have lots of those. Didn't necessarily expect it in a heavy tank, because you can kind of see them coming from a mile away. We've got good shots at him. Let's go to the murder cam. As you can see here, guys, he is just kind of posted up, looking around. He's very concerned what's going on. 11 o'clock of him. He's aiming very intently. Somehow he explodes before the round gets here. That's how much he knew he was gone. But in all seriousness, no, we did put a shot right there in the side of his tank and get him off the map. Now, we are kind of evening things out right now. We've got a good number of kills under our belt, but we're still in kind of rampage mode. We're presenting a very implacable advance. Nobody has attempted to really put a lot of heat on us and 1v1 us or 2v1 us to try to slow us down or stop us. And it's kind of getting to clutch time. And I'm posting up here. I'm getting in a side scrape position because I am afraid there are folks sitting in the mid ready to pounce on me. Suddenly I spot this gent over here, and I said, you know what? This late in the game, we need to protect every single piece on the map, so let's go out here, let's make it happen. I may not be able to get over there, but my plan was, after he's done with the clicker, I would be in that position, because what I would do is, once I killed the clicker, I would come out the back instead of going out the same way I came in. And luckily, I guessed exactly what he was going to do, because that's, like I said, that's kind of what I would do. He comes around the corner here. We're going to go ahead and just put a shot in him and do that old heavy tank tactic of just tapping somebody and giving them some good damage. He puts a round in me. Nothing really happening there. Going to the murder cam. This gentleman is in trouble. He knows it. And we're going to go ahead and vaporize him, get him off the map. Now, the bad part about this is there was a Death Star right behind him, pulled up at the same time. Perfect idea here for the Death Star. Target of opportunity, you come down while I'm engaged, sacrifice the patent. I'm a big fan of everything this Death Star has done. Now, I am face hugging a Death Star. I don't necessarily know how this is going to end. I am guessing it's going to be horrible. I am hoping my mediocre DPM can get me out of this. However, he's going to get another shot and more or less vaporize me unless my massively thick armor can somehow hold me down. And sure enough, it manages to. We set him on fire. He is in trouble. Going to the murder cam. It is over for him. Here we have a top-down view. We put a round in him, and we back this mighty machine off, looking for yet some more murder. Now, as you guys may or may not know, high explosive HESH works on armor thickness. You hit small, thinly skinned tanks, you do tons of damage. You hit big, thick, burly tanks, you do considerably less damage. Now, of course, it all depends on where you hit said tank. You hit me in the rear end or the top of the deck, whatever, then that's going to be a whole different ball game. But, you know, he was firing at, you know, my turret area, which, you know, I don't necessarily see him having enough depression at that particular point to hit me in the upper part of the hull there, because that armor is not thick, but it is sloped like crazy. Fired around there at the E4. It just didn't happen for me. He's going to come over here and wallop me a good one. I'm literally hanging on for dear life. However, we have kind of evened it up. Put a round in that gentleman, and he is now a one-shot. The light tank is kind of fired his round. He is now falling back, and it is mono. We are both one-shots for each other. It is time for the action. Let's go to the murder cam. He pulls over here and gives me a perfect underbelly shot, and I fire directly into the underside of his tank, destroying him, getting him off the map. Fantastic shot. If you don't have any depression, not necessarily a good move, but you know what? You can't blame people, because, you know, in a stressful type situation like that, you know, who knows what's going to happen. We had a good game, 71-40, ace tanker, 99%, 1370 block. Didn't block a whole lot of damage. But you know what? For somebody who doesn't play heavy tanks, I feel this was a good game. Guys, hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share. Check back in for the Cromwell B giveaway. Blah.